You have made it to Stu and the Nun, an online radio show that looks to inform, educate, and hopefully make you laugh. Stu and the Nun is a show focused on national security, policy, politics, and selfless service. We do this by not only interviewing guests, but also sharing our perspectives and asking you, the listener, to interact with us on our show chat room, via our Facebook page, and on Twitter. All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Stu and the Nun. Let me bring us up live video. There we go. I'm a little late there trying to do too many things. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode here on August 16th, about a month off. I'm all discombobulated because I have this beautiful woman in the studio, in virtual studio next to me. Miss Wendy next to me. Miss Wendy, can I say your last name?
Yeah, of course.
Miss Wendy Stewart. So this is the Stu and the Stew show. Actually.
Yes.
They're only one letter may separate us, but we're as tight as brother and sister, so we're tight in that. But yeah, so thank you, Wendy, for joining and pinch hitting tonight and jumping in while Toby couldn't make it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm noticing a theme here, and that would be Toby doesn't like me. And so I think I have his phone number somewhere in my phone, and I'm going to start texting him and giving him a rash of crap about how he doesn't even ever ask me. Like, if you can't make it, I don't think he's at, well, maybe I think he asked me once, like maybe 3 years ago. So I see where I rank on his scale, and you, my brother, hooked me up right away.
I call on you and I call on Doug a lot. Toby calls, I don't know, some Dr. Mike Simpson guy and some Tim Kennedy guy and some Travis Cox guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's got the Texas Mafia down there going, right? I don't. I reach out. I'm diverse. I reach out across the country and ask for help. We used to have Tommy Boy on, but he's gallivanting all over the world doing whatever he's doing. But yeah, so. Well, thank you so much for joining, Wendy. I appreciate it. Toby is actually really busy tonight hosting a premiere of a movie he worked on, which is...
Really?
Yeah, so we talked about it on here, and tonight's like a premiere. He's hosting it at a theater, and it deals, of course, on the very, very serious topic of PTS. So he's doing that tonight. He couldn't make it. Of course, you know... When, as you know, we just changed nights from Tuesdays to Thursdays. We've been at Tuesdays for a couple of years, and we did that. You know, just last week was the first time we moved to Tuesday night, and so we'd already made our schedules and plans around always needing Tuesday night for the show. So he had this thing booked for Thursday night, obviously, so he couldn't move it now. But you know, we were so used to Tuesday night with show night, don't book anything else, and now it's a couple conflicts as we sort through and get our calendars reset. But anyways, thank you for joining me, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on Stu and the Nun, letting us into your living rooms and your ears and on your video screens, watching us tonight. Big thanks to Enlist9 Fight Company, our main sponsor, but not our only sponsor here. Soon not to be our only sponsor. We're very excited that in 2 weeks, I think. Looking for my calendar. In 2 weeks, we will be welcoming a new sponsor on the show. We are really, really excited about that, and we've got a lot of great stuff planned with them. But Enlisted9 is always the first, and will always still be here. So we would, we're excited to have them and Colton and crew backing us up. Of course, as always, wearing my good Enlisted9 stuff going on here. The Come and Take It shirt. This is Texas on the back, and people up here think I'm from Texas. They've mentioned me like, "Aren't you from Texas? We always see you wearing Texas shirt." I'm like, "No, it's just my Enlisted9." And got my VO hat representing Toby, so I got that going on, and I'm welcomed by Miss Wendy in the more up north studio than I'm at.
Yeah, way up north.
Yeah, The
But
almost
it's
to Canada,
oh,
but not quite.
just a heads up, it is rocking and rolling out there. So if we get cut off, uh-oh.
Oh, storms.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what? Your video is delayed from us talking, so
Oh,
I'm watching
yes.
you.
Oh, if you're watching me on the feed, yeah,
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Huh,
It runs a few seconds behind, um,
okay.
and so I'm
I'm
watching
not really
us.
this stupid."
I have like four. I don't know how many. I have four screens right now showing the video feed in doing different functions, including the one that we're talking live on. And yeah, I can't watch those because we're talking about something, and I look over and I'm like, that happened like 2 seconds. That happened like 25 seconds ago. It's like but yeah. So, but it lets me
Anyway,
kind of
yeah,
see how
it's
good it is for you.
thunderstorming, it's rock and rolling. If I lose internet, if I lose electricity, which probably won't happen, that's what happened.
Okay, all right. Are we gonna get any cameo appearances from the boy digging for some hot pockets tonight?
No, no. There were explicit instructions. I walked the dog downstairs myself. I
Mm.
handed him a little bag of pepperonis, and I was like, 1 hour, 1 hour. I do not want to see your face.
Like go away. It's like when Toby when we first started doing it, he would hold on a second. I get asked questions about my son while I'm in the middle of a show. Um, when Toby first came on, his internet was kind of sketchy. He was like in a new house and everything, and he used to like force his whole family get off the internet, shut off every electronic device. You're screwing up the show. We found out later it wasn't well, it may have been, but that really wasn't the cause. But yeah, his family was very excited to have him move his show into his office down the street because it was like go back into the Stone Ages, read a book, play a board game, get off the internet. Dad's doing his show. Yeah, they were.
Well, also, I'm a little bit sick, and I have discovered over the past couple days, because you guys know if you've seen me guest co-host before, I talk a lot, and I'm the same way in real life. So
That's the point of being on a show. Uh,
excuse me. So what happens is, I get that dry spot in my throat and I start coughing, and then I just totally lose control. And so if you hear me mute and you see me like looking like I'm having a flippin' seizure, that's because I'm coughing and I'll get over it. I've got my
okay.
bottle of water here. We're gonna keep driving on. You're just gonna have to talk.
Okay. It's not a gag reflex thing. It's just coughing. I got
No,
it. Okay.
no,
Good.
just cough.
Just checking. Yes, I went there already
It's
because
okay. Don't bother me none.
to throw this back a few years when Wendy used to work on the show quite a bit with me and was our producer and our show mom. She used to I think run a clock about how quick could we take it into the gutter. I think
You know
was
what? A certain little chicken hawk was the champ. Like 3 seconds in, he would be
yep.
going there. I was like, really?
It was
Really?
it was almost a contest. That's for sure. It was to see how quick we could take it, and yeah, the little Bible thumper there himself would sometimes take it really quick. But anyways, so sorry, I'm just doing all the social media shout outs. So anyways, Wendy, what do you got going on? Why do this? Why don't you kind of brief our tell our listeners and viewers kind of what's happening? What's going on in Miss Wendy world?
Oh, well, nothing exciting. I mean, really?
What
You couldn't prep me for that question?
I don't. I'm
So,
trying to do this. I'm
so
looking at the
here's the thing.
camera, and you say you talk a lot, so I'm like, run with it. I just open the door for you.
Well, I deactivated my Facebook. I'm kind of doing a detox. I feel
Mm.
kind of like celebrity that way. I'm going to do a detox,
You're gonna
not like one of them weird colon cleanse.
social
I'm
media.
too hippy dippy.
You're
I'm
doing
going
a
to put
social media
placenta on my face.
a social
Detox.
media colon cleanse. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, just Facebook, because I have, you get sucked in, and I read a lot of news articles. If you know me, you know I'm constantly reading news articles. And so I share a lot of them on Facebook. And then, of course, then you want to see everybody's reactions, and so you just get sucked in so easy. Plus memes. I like funny stuff, so I just get sucked in. So I had kind of a moment. July 31st, that was actually the day. So it's been 16 days. Um, where I was just like, you know what? I've kind of hit the wall. Some people are mean, some people are just not nice people, or they irritate the crap out of me, all the
Mm-hmm.
different various people
Right.
that you're friends with. And so I was just like, I'm just going to deactivate. And so I've been reading books and just going about my life, you know. Plus my job, my job is very
It's
it's
busy, but it's nothing like your past jobs were. right?
No,
I
I'm
don't
not
get I
running
don't
like a maniac, but
I
I'm
I didn't
mentally.
I did not get as much entertainment. Now I used to literally wake up, roll over, and grab the phone and look for a Windy work update. If it wasn't about Crazy Mary or something, which was the one place, it was the last place, and the office manager and the this and that. It was, I mean, they had me rolling. If it wasn't mom updates, if it was if it wasn't your mom updates, family updates, it was work updates. They were
Yeah, now I'm
that's
really boring. It's just kind of mom and dog updates. You know,
lots
my
of
job
dog in
just
your
keeps me.
space, lots of dog in your space updates.
Oh Lord, she is just always up in my chocolate lab, 80 pounds, and she is my little purse poodle, but 80-pound chocolate lab. So it makes things a little awkward sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. I saw a meme today. Actually, it was I almost sent it to you. It was like someone took a picture of their feet in the bathtub. Have you seen that one?
Oh yeah,
They
where
got
the
their
dog is like all concerned, so
no,
the
no.
dog just gets in the tub with her.
Well, no. This one is it's a dude. He's got his feet
Oh,
up on the end of the tub by the faucet thing coming out, like you stretch out in the bathtub, and
mm.
the dog's rear
I'm
paws are
like moving
stretched.
around in the camera.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's all right. The dog's legs are right next to him, stretched out and put up on the bathtub. And it's like we got to talk about this space issue, right?
Is it like a gray Weimaraner?
No, it's dog legs. I don't know what the hell it is. It's just two dog legs. They look like chocolate lab legs. I don't know. It made me think of you because they were brown legs. Either
You
that or
make me laugh.
either
I
that or
love
it
you
was a
so
real.
much. I
Either,
don't know. It was just a dog.
it was either that or a really skinny Ethiopian, which I guess are all Ethiopians because they were really skinny brown legs. But yeah. So, anyways, I saw it. It was
Shit, I've missed you.
it was obviously dog legs, and I thought of you because it was like we got to talk about this space issue or something like that. And it was like he was trying to sit in the tub. The dog's right next to him, sitting in the tub.
Yeah,
And so, anyways, but I did think you did. I just didn't send it. I was doing something. But anyways, I told you about it now, so I kind of ruined it. So
that's it.
yeah, well, I thank you again for joining me. I know you're not feeling well, and I know the pay's not great. We're kind of behind on our on our payroll, so I think we still owe you for a few shows. We'll be sure and add this one to the tab. But
Send me a cool Enlisted 9 t-shirt.
oh, I can get you a VO. I can get you a VO T-shirt or beer koozie in a New York second. Let me tell you, I can get you an Enlisted 9 one too. We can make that happen. I will do that. You need to tell us. You need to go to the Enlisted 9 page like everyone else does. Go to the gruntstyle /com and /enlisted 9 something something. Just look for Enlisted 9 on there. I don't know what it's top of my head. Wendy, pick one out. You pick one out. Let us know what you want. We will get
I
you one.
have so many cool t-shirts and hats from all of the different things we've done from,
Yes.
I have your Boo Hammer hat that I still have.
Nice. Taking it
I
back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the blue with the eagle logo.
Yep.
And then I still have, and I wear it a lot. Marcus's combat t-shirt. His combat tour, his ENS 8th ENS
Mm-hmm.
t-shirt that he gave me when he came back from his deployment. And I love that t-shirt. It's like the perfect soft cotton and everything. So I wear that a lot.
Yeah.
I wear all my t-shirts that I've gotten. And then of course I have all, other military apparel
Right,
t-shirts.
right.
So
You're like me. When I went overseas a couple years ago, one of the times, and I was like, okay, I don't want to really stand out, as American or this or that. And I was going through, and I struggled going through my dresser trying to find something that didn't have a flag or military on it. And I was like, wow, I own a lot of military stuff. Like
or
it was,
guns.
yes, yes, yeah. And then I get over there. I was actually going to Australia, and then I get over there, and it's like all kind of Australian dudes wearing like grunt style shirts and American flag shirts and stuff like that. I'm like, you American? Like, no, mate. I'm like, oh. He's like, oh, I like it. It's a cool design. I'm like, yeah, it's our flag, but cool, dude. Thanks. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So Enlisted 9, go check one out, Wendy. That's it. That we by all means we will get you one. There's some great ones on there. They are always coming out with great new designs. In fact, they're selling Enlisted 9 now in Cabela's nationwide.
Oh,
I was the Second Amendment one I have. I wear sometimes the yellow with the yellow Gadsden flag on it, kind of torn up. I was in there, and they're selling grunt style on there, and they have 2 or 3 different Enlisted 9 designs in there with the Enlisted 9 Fight Company logo on it. So yeah, you can find them even at your local Cabela's.
yeah. I live in a town small enough that doesn't have one. But thanks.
But there's one. I bet there's one in your state because I know what state you live in, and Cabela's would probably be very popular there. If they're not, they need to get
Yeah,
there.
that would probably be over by Milwaukee, which
Yeah,
is a shithole. I'm allowed to say that, right?
you can say that.
Yeah.
You know we're online. It's my only one that's going to censor you is my mama, and she knows how
Oh,
you are.
sorry. Oh, yeah, and she just popped in. Sorry. Hi, Ma.
But
Sorry.
yeah. So, anyways, well, hey everybody, a lot of stuff going on. Like always, Wendy contacted me the other day and said, "Hey, what are we going to talk about tonight? Give it 24 hours, and we'll know. Because if you jump on it too fast, it's outdated. It's over. I mean, th-
I also asked him to give me a heads up today, Thursday, and have I seen even anything other than, hey, you on Skype like 10 minutes before the show started? I don't think so.
oh, I was gonna.
So,
That's right. I was gonna. We got distracted. I was about to go through the list of things I wanted to talk about tonight, and then we got distracted about. I think you were complaining about your kitchen or something, and I think I have the list in front of me. Like I was going to tell you that list of items. So guess what? It'll be a surprise for you, like it will Wendy. So I hope she can
so,
develop
so
her.
just so you know, you people out there, this is me speaking off the cuff. Me, no idea what the hell we're talking about tonight,
Well,
but
luckily for them, Wendy, you have no shortage of opinion. So I'm sure
word.
I'm sure that you will be able to develop content for the show. Um, so, anyways, all right. Well, so first thing, I mean, we would be remiss not to recognize and talk about Miss Aretha Franklin.
Oh,
There are many times, Wendy, over the years, especially early on in midway through the years of the wars in the last 18 years, 17, 18 years, when a famous person dies or they kill themselves or do whatever, there's a whole bunch of people that, say something about it, and then there's a whole bunch of vet flakes that freak out about it, and, how come you don't, especially when someone kills himself, and obviously we have such an issue in the military of people killing themselves. And there's always that, and granted, in my opinion, some of the people that are, the rich and famous, if you would, that have died over the last several years, very few, really. I mean, they may be rich and famous, they may be the flavor of the day, but they're not an icon of our American culture, right?
right.
To me personally, and I could be biased, Prince was one.
Yep.
That was a huge loss. And Aretha Franklin is another one. I mean, it wasn't she didn't you know
David Bowie.
David
David Bowie
Bowie's
was
another
another
one,
one.
right? Yeah, there's a few, and Aretha I think is in that where it warrants taking a pause and recognizing. I mean, she never. You never heard about her politics. You never heard her try to get on a soapbox. I mean, she just sang great
Yeah.
music that crossed all genres and ages and races and everything.
She
Um,
was the first woman in the Hall of Fame, Music Hall of Fame.
Really, I did not know
Yeah,
that.
she was the first woman inducted, and so, um, all of us of a certain age, just absolutely as soon as you hear RESPECT, this, especially women, that is like a throw your hands up, sing, rock your head, throw some attitude. And she just captured that song and that attitude that a lot of us, sometimes, you get to especially in relationships and stuff like that, where you're like, got to show me a little respect there.
Right.
And,
That
and the
was
way
well before like put a ring on it and all this other kind of thing. It wasn't even about anything
it was about,
materialistic,
you
right?
owe me respect.
Right. Right. R E S
It
P E
wasn't
C T. I can do it.
feminism. Yeah,
Right.
I know exactly. As soon as you hear it, you start rocking
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah. I mean,
So yeah,
I
that's
remember
it's
the
a
first
really
time I ever
sad
saw her
loss.
was Blues Brothers, right? It's the first time I'd ever, I was growing up young, and the first time I'd ever saw her, she was, that lady in the diner and out there singing it and all that kind of stuff. And I find out later, actually, I didn't find out until recently, she grew up here in Buffalo, New York. I mean, her
Oh,
dad was a minister here at First Calvary Baptist Church downtown. He was the pastor there, and she grew up here as a little girl. And of course, today, it has been all over the news because she has her original ties are back here to this town. So,
right.
yeah, it's sad. I mean, it happened. 76, pancreatic cancer. There's no job. There's no fame. There's no anything that protects any of us. It's our time. It's our time. And we can try to get. Some people can afford better health care or treatments or this or that. But when it gets you, it gets you, and it's a
Yeah.
shame. But no one can say she didn't live a full life, and she didn't take it at her own hand. She didn't spoil it away like Whitney Houston. She didn't OD. I mean, she lived a full life, and I'm sure her family and close friends and loved ones have a number of memories that they're blessed with having. I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, she's pretty amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, that was big, and it was a big one today. Of course, that was all over the wire all morning. And you know what? As sad as the thing it is, Wendy. Just in my opinion, I'd be interested to hear what you say. Man, at least it kind of took over a little bit of the news hour, and gave you a break from everything else.
I swear, especially now that I'm not on Facebook. Like I'm on Fox News. That's my homepage, Fox News. And Fox News only refreshes like 4 times a day. And I'm like, what the hell? What's going on?
You gotta watch. You gotta watch Drudge. You gotta be on Drudge as your
You
homepage.
know what? I have CNN, Fox News, and AP, the AP wire. So I actually check all three. Like I said, I read a lot of articles. And then
That's what's nice about Drudge. It brings in all those sources and like another 50.
I don't like those aggregators. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is. I don't know if it's because
Well, I hope you don't try to check out Infowars because they're kind of getting shut down lately. But that's a whole other story. We're gonna hit that in a little bit.
oh yeah, his website though is insane. So whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, it's but it did kind of the news of Aretha passing did kind of give us a break and all that. But I can't imagine what's it like for you to be disconnected with not on social media. You don't have TV service at your home, right? You don't
I
have.
have Netflix.
You have Netflix, right? So they're not broadcast. You don't have Hulu or like any kind of news service. You just pretty much
Nope.
see news on the internet.
Yep.
So you wait for the
So it's
news alert.
self-selecting. Like I said, I have Fox News, CNN, and AP News.
Hmm.
And the AP feeds to the other two, obviously. So you see a lot of the
Right.
same articles. Um,
I like a lot of British outlets. I like Daily Mirror and BBC and the Mirror UK. I like some of the British ones. They have a lot better pictures. I'm a grunt. They have a lot of good pictures. So if there's a big issue, even in the U.S.
you
going
just
on,
like them girls in the
no, they
bikinis
just have
and
like if there's a major issue, like the bridge collapsing in Italy, they'll
mhm.
have 17, 20, 25 different pictures of that from different angles. It's like they just parachute in photographers. They have
Yeah.
something going on here in the States. They have pictures none of our outlets have. I mean, it's amazing. The Brits are they just have little photographers all over the place. But I like that. Pictures are easy. I'm we're moving quick. Like I say, you're trying to keep up on the news. I can browse through, say, ooh, that looks really bad. That was terrible. I can move on. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. The best thing about disconnecting from Facebook is Facebook in some ways is very impersonal. You scroll through, you click like, you maybe leave a short pithy comment. You see some liberal writing spouting some bullshit, and you really want to get in there and tear it up, and then you're like, you know what? I got better stuff to do with my time. So you don't engage. At least I don't anymore at this age. Um, but it's all very surface surfing. Now that I'm disconnected, people are messaging me, I'm texting, I'm getting phone calls, and there's like a core group of people who are just checking up on me and making sure I'm okay. And I love that. I would rather have a core group of people touching base and kind of checking up on me and finding out my day-to-day stuff, where it's more personal than for me to blast it out, 100 friends, maybe three of them comment, so you don't know if the other ones even see it or give a crap about what you have to say.
Right.
So I don't know. It just seems a little. And then reading. I have not read books. Like actually sat down and read every year when I go down to my dad's 4th of July. I read a couple of books, and I always feel like I've done something awesome because I used to read prolifically. I used to read just so much. Um, and in the last 5 years, I just haven't. And I've read 6 books since the 31st.
I'm with you.
Well,
I,
I
I've
take that back. I read I read a compilation of like 8 books, and I've read 5 of those, but one of those I love so much I bought the other 5.
wow.
So I've actually read like 10 books.
I hope it has something to do with gray or shades of gray. Is that what?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm a mill sci-fi girl.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
why I'm
You are.
friends with like Crapman and
Yeah.
Williamson and like all those guys. Hello.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the I have a number of them here. I finally have gotten back into reading too, and books have just been collecting up. And I was talking about a couple weeks ago. I read I'm reading a whole bunch of the Bill O'Reilly books, all of his killing series, and I finished up Killing Lincoln, which was just phenomenal. I mean, I talked about it a couple weeks ago here. Just a great book. I could not recommend. The amount of history goes into is amazing. That of things you just did not hear about in the history books, or just never made the cut. But when you read it all together, it really fills out the whole picture and adds a lot of color to everything that happened. Now I'm reading Killing Jesus. Behind that, I got Kennedy. I got the right Killing the Rising Sun, and then Killing Patton. So I'm that's kind of the series I'm in right now. Very very strong, rich history books. That's kind of my thing. Is always history.
Yeah. I'm not a history person.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
I like to look back to know how to prep to look forward. Wow, that sounded very
See, in Mill
smart. Huh?
Sci-Fi's like I look forward to see how to kill a bunch of aliens, and the
Well,
Space Force thing's gonna be like, shh.
are you
Oh, the
signing
Mill.
up for Space Force? Are you going to try to enlist in Space? Because Doug, who's watching right now in the show, who is in his 40s, but thinking that maybe there won't be an age limit for the Space Force. So
Dude, I'm a fat accountant. Like, are you kidding me? No.
hey, there's no weight is not an issue in space. There's no 670-1. Everyone's below
No,
the weight
but
limit.
gravity, what happens is some of us are a little, let's be polite, top heavy. And unless we're like binding stuff down, we might just end up like throttling ourselves
Oh,
in.
you think things are going to float up and like
Oh, yeah.
beat the crap out of you? Well, they have. I think they're going to be issuing them Space Force bras. I think. I'm not sure. I've heard rumor. They're still drafting the uniform guidelines for that, but no, it's yeah. Well, a lot of folks are going to be. It seems like it's really going to happen.
I'll be the bean counter.
You'll count the beans going into space and how much fuel the spaceships use and how many space
I'll
laser
make sure
cannons
there aren't like $300,000 toilet seats like
yeah.
our government likes to do.
They won't.
Go ahead.
It's a big suction thing. It's space. They do nothing. They got to like take control. Anyways, we won't get into that in this episode. We'll save that for the future, sometime in space. Excuse me. Anyways, I got a windy cough here. All right. So, besides that, I do want to get in a couple other topics here. We are almost at the halfway mark.
I know, we just blew through it. Let's talk
We
about
do.
some good stuff.
We are going to talk about some good stuff. And one of the things we're going to talk about in here in a few minutes in a little bit. Stay tuned if you're watching. Tonight we have our first ever giveaway contest for those that were who liked the Accelerated Solutions page and liked the our page, Stu and the Nun. You had all week up until noon today, and it probably went a little bit past noon today. And we all week to like both pages. Wendy, would you believe we only had 8 people like both? Now, we had I looked at the numbers. They had a lot of new likes. We had a whole bunch of new likes, which was kind of the point of the contest. The but they it's interesting when I look up and I see my wife helping my son carry gas out to the lawnmower. I'm thinking, oh, I'm doing a radio show. I guess they can handle that. But so we sorry, I got distracted.
I know, because you're a man, you're thinking lawnmower and gas, and what is my family doing? And I'm the man, and I need to take care of this. And
No,
what if
what
they
I'm
screw up
thinking
my
is
lawnmower?
I'm just thinking I just filled it up the other day. They should not be needing more gas, and it's actually what the millisecond thought was. It went through my head. But anyways,
You don't know.
we only had 8 people. So guess what? Those 8, you got 1 in 8 chance. You got great options to win. We have another contest we're going to announce tonight from the sister company of Accelerated Solutions. So we'll be announcing that at the end of the show. So make sure you stay tuned. Very excited about that. But anyway, so we will be announcing that. But for right now, I want to talk about John Brennan. So, security clearances are something near and dear to my heart. I wrote for clearancejobs.com's blog and website for a long time. It's something that I'm kind of related to and know quite a bit about. This whole thing, our good friend Jimbo Hansen was just on Fox this morning. Last night, Jim's on all the time. He wrote an op-ed today for FoxNews.com all about it. And a lot of things there's a lot of topics in people talking in the news right now. Of course, the left, is thinking it's a terrible thing. It's a shutdown on free speech and all this kind. It's amazing how many people. I guess let me back up. Here's one thing I did notice, and I kind of put up a post about today, Wendy. If you want to be hated by the left, be liked by the president. Have him say something positive. And if you want to be loved by the left, have the president do something against you, negative against you, or say something about you, and you're loved by the left. And if you're really lucky, you can have both happen within a 24-hour period, right?
Yes.
Omarosa had that happen. She was Comey's had that happen, and a number of other folks have had that happen. When it looks like they're going against the president, boy, the left latches onto them. They're the best thing ever. And as soon as it looks like the president says something good about them, they're the worst thing that's ever happened. In Comey's case, he went back and forth a couple times, but anyway, so here it is, John.
Let me just
Yeah.
say that is the ultimate example of the behavior of that Trump derangement syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a person who is doing a certain thing and you hate them just because of the thing that they're doing reflects on another person positively, and you have the exact same person who does something that reflects on them negatively. I mean, it's like middle school shit. I mean, let's be honest. If you see a bunch of 12-year-old girls and they're all like, "I hate her. I hate her. She likes so and so and he's sending her notes." And then like 2 days later it's like, "Oh, I heard he didn't like her. She's like, she wanted to sit with me at lunch. And so, we're just gonna, yeah, we don't care about that boy." And then 3 days later again, it's like, "Oh my God, she said she likes so and so, and I like him too." And she's just, it is middle school stuff, like 12-year-old girl drama stuff. That
Here's
is
one
what
thing
the left is
here's one
composed
thing I
of
just
now.
learned. Here's one thing I learned. There's a reason why we don't have 12-year-old girls go guest host on the show, because that was the most annoying thing I ever heard in my eardrums right now. I can tell you.
Sorry, I had a teenage daughter, but she wasn't like that. Thank
I was
God.
like, I was gonna take these headphones off and throw them. Like, that's why we don't have 12-year-old girls co-hosts. I could not handle that for an hour. But anyways, I was just messing with you. Yeah, it was
It's that
so.
logic. It's that thinking.
Yeah. I'm with you. What just gets me is how much of an expert everyone's become. Whether when a gorilla gets shot, everyone knows everything about a freaking gorilla. When something else happens, that everybody knows everything there's know about Boko Haram. It's whatever the topic is that the media tells them to say something. Everyone's got an opinion on it. And lately, like say, because of TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, anything that he talks about or whatever, everyone's an expert. So now everyone's expert on clearances, why someone has a clearance, how they got a clearance, why they should keep a clearance forever. It's amazing how that's where the left, and everyone's talking about this. This is an infringement on a freedom of speech, and this is authoritarian. No, it's not.
Whatever.
Let me tell you something. Clearances are two things. One, you pass the background check, and depending on the level of clearance, that goes from a cursory, very minimal view or investigation to a full scope poly, which you feel for years later. It hurts. And second is the need to know. So you can have clearances out the kazoo, but if you don't have a need to know, you don't have a need to know. Well,
Yeah.
the law states, and yes, that people are like, why did he still have a clearance? Well, it's pretty common for the senior leadership of our intelligence community to maintain their clearances, because they do get called back in. They had years of experience probably working with foreign issues, diplomacy issues, and things like that. That maybe a current administration, or a current, not even administration, but a head of an intelligence agency hasn't had to deal with. So they may call on them and say, "Hey, when you had to deal with country X or dictator so and so or whatever, what do you find is the best way, or this and that." That's kind of why they have it. So it's not every Tom, Dick, and Harry gets to keep it
I
forever.
think Americans think it's like one of those um like passes that you get into a building, like one of those keyless cards. It doesn't expire when you leave your
No,
position.
no, you
It's
keep it. Yeah.
actually in effect for like a few years.
Right, right.
And depending on when the last renewal was. And I've actually I've had to answer the FBI questions for
Yeah.
people's security clearances. So I've been on the investigative end answering questions for people. And they're good for like what, 5 years normally.
It depends on
So
depends on what it's 15 to 5 years,
yeah,
and then on the real high end ones of the different levels of types of top secret, I'll just say, you could have to renew every couple years or get rechecked every couple years, but it's because you have really, really sensitive access, right? So they want to
right.
make sure, and we would want that as Americans, to make sure that people haven't gotten skewed, right? They haven't gotten
Yeah.
motivated to do something. So yeah, you leave. you leave a job or a service or whatever it is, or contract work or whatever, you may still have it for a couple. It goes, we call it. It gets it goes dormant, or it's you're orphaned, right? If you're not working, needing that clearance, you kind of get parked for a couple of years, and see if you get picked back up. Is how what the phrases we use. You get picked back up by someone else that needs your clearance, needs you to do work under that clearance, and then you're kind of reactivated again. But you still got to get renewed, right? You still got to have a we call it a adjudication. You got to get readjudicated every so long, depending on your clearance. And they recheck you and make sure that nothing has changed, your foreign travel hasn't gotten crazy, whatever, right? Nothing, you haven't racked up a lot of debts or done
Right.
something you'd be blackmailed for. But
Right.
you may keep it for a little while. It's because you may come back to service. Well, a
But
senior,
I think a lot of Americans think that it's like, oh, I leave office and someone somewhere thinks, oh, we need to turn off everybody's security clearance.
right,
Like it's some sort of on off button, or like your pass card doesn't work so you can't
right.
get into the office. It's just a
There is I mean,
designation for
right.
the access that you're allowed to have.
There is a high level of kind of, I'll just refer to as a level above top secret that you do. We use the term red on and red off. So when you don't need that, you do get red off,
Okay. Oh,
but you
yeah.
still have a TS, right? You still have a top secret, but there's
Right.
certain special things that you don't have a need right at that moment. And it's not a big deal to get red on and red off. It happens all the time. You get brought into a special project, you work on it. When you're done with it, you're red off. You don't have a need to have that information. That's how we
Right.
protect the data.
Right.
And but these senior leaders, because they could get called back, they held unique positions as maybe the DNI, the head of the CIA, or whatever it may be. They may be called back, and that's why they keep them. So pretty much, the government every so many years when it's time to renew, they go back through the process. I would imagine if they said, I'm tired of dealing with this, don't call. It's been 20 years since I guess they could say, I don't want to bother, but at least for the first little bit, they still have at privy. They still
Right.
have the access, right? But they don't have the second part, which is the need to know. And they would only get that if someone called on them to say, we
Right.
need your expertise again. So that's why I had it. But the law states, the CIA regulation states, should I say regulation, that anyone that maintains it after they leave the agency has to still conduct themselves and behave like they were a member of the agency. And there's no member of the agency that is going to be on every media outlet they can be on, trashing the administration, the president, and everything else. That would not be allowed by any agent in any intelligence community to
Right.
do that kind of stuff. So the bottom line is that's justified. There are many members of the intelligence community, senior leaders, that you have forgotten about because they don't put themselves they may every once in a while do a guest spot. They get called onto a news organization, to pay, hey, we want your opinion on something going on in Ukraine or this or that or whatever. But they're not out there pushing anti-administration agendas and political agendas. You can go on and be an expert about a topic, right? Because you were in charge of an intelligence agency when some past history event happened, but you're not out there pushing some kind of agenda every time. That would get you fired out of an intelligence agency. That apparently will get your clearance removed. And when people say, "Hey, well, this is unprecedented. This has never happened." Yeah, this is all. Remember, this is the guy who's not a lifelong swamp politician either. Hasn't everything he's done pretty much never been done before,
And
right?
that's the swamp thing. That's the thing. It's like when you talk about the swamp, it's not just the guys at the top. You don't know the people who do have the clearance. When you talk about need to know and stuff like that, you don't know who's in service, who has those clearances, who just hate Trump, and they're going to just have these conversations. And oh, well, he already has the clearance. Maybe he doesn't have the need to know, but he has the clearance, so I think I'll be okay to talk to him about this stuff, even though we all know it's not okay. But people can justify. I do a lot of studying about fraud and stuff like that, and one of the key of the triangle of fraud is rationalization. People can rationalize to themselves anything that they feel like they're doing is okay, whether it's, I hate my boss, whether it's, whatever. And so I think a lot of these people, and so I think Trump was right to pull that, because we don't know what Brennan's rationalization to himself is
Right.
for why he thinks it's okay to do all this stuff and still hold this clearance.
Right. I met Admiral Hayden a few months ago. I guess it was January or February. I got to meet Admiral Hayden when I was down in D.C. And nice guy. And he's, obviously he is, was an Obama appointee, and he has expressed his concerns and pontificated a few times about the current administration, but he does not, go out there as much as Clapper and Brennan do all the time. I mean, they make it their life mission to go out there and try to slam the administration and give opinion. I mean, even making loose, vague allegations about, well, maybe he is on the Putin payroll. I don't know. Hey, when you say that and you're the former head of the CIA or you're in charge of intelligence, that pulls a lot of weight. You can't just go out there and say, well, maybe he does. Maybe him and they're BFFs. I don't know. You're alluding to that something, and even though you claim you have no evidence, you're not claiming it to be true. People will inherently I mean, it's like you, Wendy. You may, in your job, dealing with numbers and the finances of your company. If someone comes sees, hey, are we good? Or is there anything going on fishy, like someone cooking the books or trying to? You could be like, well, I don't know. I'm not saying I've seen anything. People are like, oh shit, what does Wendy know? Like,
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It's because of based on your position,
Right.
and your previous knowledge of situations and the perception that you have information based on your stinking security clearance that the rest of us don't.
Right.
And so when you make insinuations like that, the rest of us who obviously don't have access to that information question, what information do you know?
Yeah, what are you trying to tell me?
Or have you seen?
Right, what's
what
that guy
has
trying
come
to
across
say?
your desk that makes you think, well, maybe he has these kind of ties? It's just shitty stuff.
Yeah.
Again, it's like teenagery stuff.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So he's lost it. The president is the ultimate. The president can classify. I mean, I don't think the American people realize this too. He determines the classification. The president can declassify anything and classify anything. Right. That's the benefit of the president. There's a lot to being the president. That's one of them. He's the ultimate. There's only one person in this country that's automatically given a security clearance. It is the president. He's the only one that gets it automatically. Everyone else, it is a privilege. Even the head of the CIA, the head of the FBI, the head of DIA, no matter what it is a privilege. So, yeah, he has that kind of power, and the American people put him in that position. So he can do it, and that's part of the law. So, we'll see what happens. But it's, this is the 15 minutes, his 15 minutes, and hey, it took over from that Omarosa chick.
Oh Lord.
Because before, and it's whoever the media could put for one. It was the Stormy Daniels lawyer, right? He got about 30 minutes. Now he's talking about running for office.
He still got some yesterday because the guy's not even an immigration attorney. He's representing some stripper who screwed the president years ago, and now all of a sudden he's this immigration savior, snatching up some kid, taking custody of it, flying this child all the way to Guatemala and presenting him to his mama. I was like, are you flipping kidding me? Dude.
Yeah, it's he had his time, and then Omarosa's had hers, but she'll be forgot about in a week. And now
she's a hot mess. Boy, that girl needs Jesus.
You can't
see, now you got it.
You got me on that one.
I was all muting and coughing.
You got me on that one. You said she needs you. You're right, she does.
Sorry.
But yeah. So but anyway, so that's kind of that one. And, another thing that's the whole Brennan thing, and even the Omarosa thing is kind of taken over from the media, is what's going on up here in New York, the New York 27th district. So
are you talking about Cuomo?
No, we're talking
whatever
about
his name is.
We're getting to him now. Chris Collins, Chris Collins, who was indicted last week. We talked about this last week on the show. I know Chris, we have connections way back, and it's a real shame seeing what's going on, but it's not looking good. He was indicted Tuesday or Wednesday on insider trading charges, and on Saturday morning he announced that he was not going to run for re-election. He was guaranteed to win again this midterm. That he was suspending his campaign. Ballots already being printed. That threw Western New York Republican GOP politics into a tizzy, and now they have a candidate. They have a list of about 12 people, including a good friend of this show and past guest of this show and ours. Dave Bellavia is considered one of the front runners. Now, Dave ran against Chris for the 27th district. and had ran against him in the primary back in 2012. He lost to Chris in 2012, but Dave won 6 of the 7 counties in the district, everything but Erie County, which is where Buffalo's at. So he won every county but the 7th. Well, but Erie County's the biggest, and Chris pulled that one, and Chris had a big war chest. David was, he was walking door to door and, on a shoestring budget, but he won the other 6 counties. So he is he was one of the first names thrown up there as a replacement for Chris on the midterm coming up. So that's been a hot thing here. The New York 27th district, as you know, every seat
I don't understand
counts.
how that works.
Yeah.
So he's not going to run for re-election?
He's suspending his re-election campaign, yeah.
And that's for this coming November?
Yes.
And he's already on the ballot?
They've already started printing them. Yes, he's like there's
so
all
then
the
the
elections.
GOP does not have a valid candidate right now?
No, they have an army of lawyers going through all the laws trying to find a way. They're looking at everything from Chris claiming he switching his residency to his Florida address to appointing him to a position temporarily so they can they're like looking at everything.
David needs to drum up a write-in campaign.
Well, it's right now, believe it or not, he's actually meeting with the GOP caucus had him yesterday out in Batavia. All the candidates were out there meeting with them. They're making the selection, so the caucus will put together and decide who they're going to back, who's going to be the runner.
You know what?
But there's all kind of big names.
I've already done the politics thing.
I know.
So here's the thing. You don't have to be specially flippin' appointed by a stinking party.
No.
I've got a little bit of an attitude about party stuff.
I know.
So here's the thing. David can do just like he did, which is pound the pavement and talk to everybody and say, listen, I got close to beating Collins last time. He obviously has issues. He has this thing. I am asking you, here's my leaflet, here's my handout, here's my door hanger. I am asking you to write in my name on the ballot. Write my name in, and he can get a spot.
Yeah,
if he can get enough people to write him in.
Well, he's not the only. There's a couple of big power hitters, some that he supports that are also on the list. So it's and some of them have millions in their war chest. So,
but how do you get? But if you don't have a valid candidate on the ballot, so what are they going to do? They're going to let Chris be elected.
That's a possibility. Well,
enough people get voted.
Well,
and then he resigns.
The reality
and then the
is
governor appoints someone.
No, the reality is he could stay on, and even under indictment, could probably beat the Democrat that's running against him. But which would be hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. It's a mess. Let me just put it the way it's a hot mess as much as Omarosa is in Western New York GOP politics right now. It's like I say, it's involving an army of lawyers and Chris.
It doesn't have to be lawyers. David can just go and appeal to the people who go in and cast a vote.
Yeah, well, he did,
he
did, and again, he won 6 of the 7. But the big one is
so
is
go
the 7.
talk to them and ask them to write his name in.
But so he's there's a few that he said if they run that he would back them and he would not try to run against them. He would do and help them and support them. Some are very good friends of his.
But nobody's going to be running. Nobody's going to be on the ballot. That's the problem.
Well, no, that's why the caucus is working to do. The caucus is going to pick who they're going to support to get on the ballot, and then they're going to do whatever loophole they can do to get that person on, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
there aren't a lot of loopholes because usually there's a deadline. There's a filing deadline, and then there's a signature deadline. Yeah.
It's been hot here the last week on that issue. Let me tell you. But yeah, so it's, as you know, every seat counts, right? I mean, we talk about the balance of power. Unfortunately, between two parties is pretty tight. Every seat counts. This was one that was a guaranteed, GOP seat, and now it's it could possibly go the other way. So it is. It's putting itself front and center in the national political fight. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. But the bottom line is, if you get into that office, don't do it. I mean, come on, you got to be smarter than that. The district attorney of the Southern District of New York has a lot. His case looks pretty solid. I mean, they got him in sights. So you got to be smarter than that. You can't be greedy when the guy's considered the possibly the richest or the 13th, anywhere from the 13th to the richest member of Congress. And he did all this to save his family and friends $750,000. He's worth at least.
I just don't have a lot of patience.
He's worth
anybody.
at least $44 million. He could have wrote $750,000 check in a second.
Yeah.
It's asinine, but yeah. So that's a hot one here, and we'll see how that comes out on the world stage. But or on the national stage, should I say? But since you mentioned earlier, Cuomo's another big one, and wow,
That
let,
guy's a flippin' tool.
it's no, he'll probably get reelected because it's New York. But I mean, I don't know if you
I
probably
don't know.
you
Cynthia
probably
Nixon, everybody knows her. I mean, and then
they
she's a
know her.
lesbian, and then she's like got all this other stuff. Whatever.
She's as liberal and left as he is, and maybe so. But Cuomo, it's politics and corruption here. Let me tell you. But you know what the GOP of New York did today? They bought a one-way $55 ticket in Chris Cuomo's name, or in his name, and sent it to him for tomorrow. They gave him 2 days to wrap up all of his business, and it's a ticket to Montreal because they said apparently America's not great. It's a ticket that's going to be left at the bus terminal in New York City for him, in Albany for him to take a bus to Montreal. They bought a $55 ticket so he can go to where a country is great because apparently America's not great.
That guy, let me tell you, people, if you think about how many immigrants we have in the United States who originally were not from this country, do you understand that worldwide, when you think about all of the immigrants that have moved from one country to another, the United States has 20%, 19%, 20% of all of the immigrant movement from another nation to us. 46 million people. We have 300 million people as a population. 46 million of them are not from this country, which means our country was so great. Our country presented so much opportunity to people who are downtrodden, who are economically depressed, who are suppressed and abused and beaten by their own countries and their own leadership, that they come to our country to seek life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Mm-hmm. And for that little tool in New York to have anything to say about how America was never great, let me tell you, that is like one of those things where you just viscerally, as soon as you see that face, you want to throat punch him.
Oh, living in New York, we all do. I can tell you. You remember, this is the guy that created the New York Safe Act, and shoved it through in 22 minutes at 11 o'clock at night to 11:22 at night, and made the state legislatures pass this act without giving a 3-day waiting period to enact the country's first and most stringent gun laws. Yeah, he is not liked. I refer to him as Adolf Como, and you watch the video of him making that statement yesterday. You can see it in his face when he says it. I swear, you can see it as clear as day. Like there was a little thought bubble above his head. It was like, oh shit, because you could just, when he said it, and the people, like some people laughed in the audience, and some people groaned and gasped, and you can hear all the different reactions. You can hear like, and he started backtracking right then. The bottom line is,
and then he started covering his ass and talking about, oh yeah, well we're gonna make it great. Like, you know what? Listen, dude, what you're saying is exactly like what Trump said, is to make America great. The only difference is, Chris thinks he's going to make America great because it's never been, and Trump is thinking, we've always had this strength and leadership. And if you don't think so, let's go back to all the flippin' wars we fought where all the world looked to us to help liberate the underdog, the person being aggressed against.
I heard a good one today. Was it was amazing how much the left is coming out, and the people coming out to defend Cuomo on what he said, because they're pretty much coming out and saying, yeah, he's gonna, what he said wasn't that wrong, it's a this and that. Like, wow, because you guys were all the same people that when the president during his campaign came out with the slogan "Make America Great Again," every one of them were going, it already is great. How, like, why are you saying that? Obama made it great. It's already been great. Everything's great about it. These are the same people that are now saying, yeah, Governor Cuomo's right. It's not a great place. I mean, they're trying to defend him when just 3 years ago.
There's a difference between it's not a great place, because right now it really is kind of tough, the left and right. There's no middle ground. But he said that America has never been great.
Right, never.
And he can just kiss my shiny hiney. I don't think so. This country has been wonderful. This country has given many different nationalities, peoples, races an opportunity to become better,
Yeah.
an opportunity at education, an opportunity to strive to raise your family in freedom and happiness. You got to work for it. Nothing is given to you. You have to work for it.
Yeah, I think the term "kiss my shiny hiney" is generating a lot of thumbs up on Facebook right now. I'm seeing lots of. I mean, it's a never. I think someone is stuttering on their mouse because it's nonstop thumbs up. So
Oh, sorry.
that's cool. No, we're gonna hashtag that shiny hiney hashtag. There we go. All right, but good. All right, so. Yeah, I don't know what look. He stepped in it. He's trying to backtrack. People know he's only trying to backtrack now because he got caught. He said it. Look, he said apparently what he feels, and obviously the president's already jumped on that and is already tweeting using that against him. Which put it this way, man. The president is. If I could interview, I was thinking about this morning. Believe it or not, Wendy, I was at the gym. I was sitting there thinking like, man, would it be awesome to get the president on the show? And I was thinking, what kind of stuff would I ask him? And I actually gave it some thought. And one of the first questions I came up with was, how in the world do you keep up on everything going on? Like, how do you possibly work to the degree you do? You keep on everything. And by the way, you know everything that's going on in the media. I mean, like, do you have like a wall of just screens? How does he possibly stay on top of all these issues? And the dude is trolling people hard, wishing Maxine Waters happy birthday yesterday. As soon as this comes out, he's on it. He's slamming Omarosa. I mean, the dude is savage. And by the way, also, holding North Korea to task, holding Iran to task, sanctioning, putting tariffs on China, dealing with like everything under the sun. I've never seen one administration have so much going on at one time. I don't know how that dude does it. He's on some serious Red Bull or something.
I haven't looked at his Twitter account. Do we know how many people he actually follows? Because I'm wondering if the people that he follows, because they're the ones who are going to fill his feed, are the ones that are kind of keeping track of, all these issues. And so, everybody works a couple hours, you take a 15-minute break, you go get a glass of water, you go pee, whatever. And then, if you hit your Twitter account and your feed is just with key people who have exactly what you're looking for, I think it'd be pretty easy to keep track of it all. If you're following 3,000 people, it's just going to be all a bunch of crap and trash.
He follows 47. I don't think we're one of them.
There you go. I wonder who those 47 are, and if they're people who, are people who
I don't know. I'm going to look. He's got 53 million that follow him.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm looking, right? Who's who he follows? He follows Vice President. He follows Sarah Sanders, Tucker Carlson, Jesse Waters, Kellyanne Conway, the White House, Reince Priebus, his golf Twitter account, Drudge, Hannity, lots of Trumps in there.
Drudge and Hannity.
He still follows Michael Cohen, Geraldo. Trump Charlotte, Trump Washington D.C., Trump all his hotels. He follows all those.
He probably wants to make sure that they're not stepping in it.
He follows Piers Morgan.
Interesting.
Yeah. So most of it of his 50,
but a lot of
his 47.
A lot of those are information sources like Drudge.
Yeah, but I would say of his 47, half are probably between at least half are family members or his properties. Of the 47.
So then the other half are probably key information people.
Well, mostly media people. Yeah, that looks like.
Yeah. And so if they're popping stuff, all he has to do is look on his feed and just be like, oh, yeah, I see Omarosa's out running her mouth. Oh, yeah, I see, whatever's going on. And then he can just hammer back.
He's got 38.
And then the rest of it's like policy stuff with all his briefings.
He's got 38,000 tweets. He has 53.8 million followers. That is.
I ain't got time to do it. I don't know
how he does it. I just don't know how he does it. I mean, that guy he's just savage. He stays on it. I mean, I figure he must have like a wall of just screens, and he is able to take in a lot of information at once. But yeah, and maybe a good commander surrounds themselves with good lieutenants and sergeants and that kind of stuff. So he must just be the information office must, whether it's Sarah Huckabee Sanders' office or what, they must just be on overdrive. Just but even getting the time with them, there's only so many minutes in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty amazing. Anyways, I was thinking about that this morning. It wasn't one of the topics I wanted to talk about, but I thought it was interesting to see how he reacts to stuff. But and speaking of social media and speech, as we're winding down here, the right, the attack on free speech and the shutdown is just been, these coordinated attacks by all the what they call the monsters, right? The Google, the Facebook, the Apple, this and that, whatever. And you can say what you want about Alex Jones and Infowars. At least up until this week, it was the eighth, and has been for a while, the eighth most popular website. Infowars has been the eighth most popular website on the internet.
Hmm.
On the internet, eighth most popular. That means a lot of people are following that
Yeah.
dude and tracking his stuff. And to have this week, all of these media outlets just all together shut him down, and then today the FTC shut him down because he had a pirate radio running that he apparently didn't have any license for. But it's just like to have all these outlets just hammer him from all these sides at one time. It just, if anything gives me concern, it's not taking away a Brennan's security clearance because he's out there running his mouth when he should be maintaining a quiet professional. It's all the big private media companies that we have all become dependent on, including the
And
show.
that's the thing. So I have a friend, and I'm very good friends with his wife, Vox Day. And for 3 years now, he has been talking about making yourself anti-fragile, and if you don't like the way certain platforms are being run, the SJWs are taking them over, whatever, you have to create your own platforms. Now, the conservative, Republican, however you want to call it, group, they seem to think that if they just appease these groups enough, that they won't get purged. And Vox Day has specifically said you got to start your own platforms. You know what he did with Wikipedia? Wikipedia is always being edited. They have their little SJW little editors that go in and they always slant everything. I
Right.
mean, Wikipedia at this point is not even considered a valid source of information because of the way that it's edited and biased.
Right.
You know what he did? He created a whole new platform called Infogalactic. It's like Wikipedia, and a lot of the Wikipedia pages are actually mirrored onto Infogalactic. But the way they have it split, you can either, it's funny because they have it split into conservative and liberal, and you can actually choose which thread or which profile you want for your own bias. Um,
Have you ever heard of Gab AI?
yes, I'm on Gap,
Yeah, I'm on Gab
and,
AI. I don't get on
and
there
I'm
a
on
lot.
MeWe.
I don't get on there a lot, but I'm on Gab AI.
Yeah,
Our good friend Scott Kesterson turned me onto that a while back, and I got onto there. But
and you got to understand, Vox started his own publishing company because the big publishing companies have their special little people who are very SJW, and
mhm,
nobody gets in the door. They were gatekeepers. So he started his own publishing company.
right.
So all these people who don't like it, get off your butts, band together, crowdsource it.
Uh oh. Yeah, hit that mute button. There it goes. All right. No, so you're right. What you were trying to say, Wendy, was if you don't like it, do something about it. Crowdsource, start a new one, but you got to turn the tide. Um, and do all that. But it's look. Everyone thought back in the day MySpace was going to be the ultimate. It got shut down. So it anything's possible. Facebook has lasted a long time. Ironically, it started out as a social media collaboration platform for college kids and colleges. Of course, and the young people got on it, and now kids nowadays, literally like teenagers and preteens, they're not on there at all. It has become so mainstream, right? They're doing all their stuff on Instagram or Snapchat, and now it seems to be mostly Instagram is where they do all their stuff at. They jump to wherever the next latest greatest thing is. But Facebook has now become so mainstream, right? Every business, every political figure, everything has an outlet on Facebook. It has definitely grown, but it has. But there's other outlets. We can go back to old school, keep it on the websites like we used to when we blogged, and we didn't have all these social media outlets, and we just we just wrote our stuff on our websites and let people come read it. And you can always do that, but that would probably seem kind of archaic to many. But yeah, it is. It's amazing. I guess watch it. It's that you can't. These are companies that are used in the public domain and stuff, but you can leave them just like you have done, Wendy. You've shut off from Facebook for a while. People can leave at any time, but the bottom line is there seems to be a concerted effort. Again, it may be right now a big one like Alex Jones, who's considered really really extreme right, but where does it go next? I mean, it. When does it stop? And at what point when do they start listening to the Southern Poverty Law Center to determine who shouldn't be heard anymore? But at some point they'll implode, I guess, and maybe we'll get back to reading books and writing letters. Who knows?
Or ham radio.
Or ham radio. There we go. But yeah, so
Underground. There can always be a resistance. The underground.
The resistance.
Yeah, exactly. Wolverines.
There we go. Well, hey, we've been going a little over an hour, and I know we have so many people still tuned in, waiting to hear who won, and hear about the new contest. And we're gonna. I want to get to that here in just a second. I'm trying to see what outlet or what thing I'm going to get on to do that. So let me jump over here. But no, we like I say, we did not have a lot of entries that were on both. So be sure for this next week that you do go in and try and be sure and join both pages, which means you just gotta like our page, and then you gotta like the page of Clint's other company, which is the sister company. I'm trying to get to it now, of Accelerated Solutions. So if you like both, then oh my lord, I gotta try to find him here. So if you like both, then you'll be able to win. Sheesh, I'm all messed up here. I gotta find the.
You are a hot mess.
I am another mess. Okay, sir, I gotta find his other company. Okay, here it is. That's it right there. All right, yeah, there we go. All right, good. Okay, I found his other one. Okay, so let me first get into what we have for tonight. So tonight we had 9 people or 8 people that were friends of that liked both pages, and I'm glad to announce that Mr. Justin Capel is the winner of a custom Kydex holster from Accelerated Solutions. So Justin, we will be getting a hold of you. We know how to get a hold of you, and because we know who you are, and we will be getting a hold of you to line you up with Clint over at Accelerated Solutions, and you can work out with him about which piece you have that you would like in a custom-made Kydex holster for, what design you would like, and he will take care of you. So congratulations to Mr. Justin Capel for winning that. Look, everybody, it was easy. There were 8 people. You just have
click, like.
Yes, you just have to like the Stu and the Nun page, which if you're watching the show, there's no reason why you should not already, but you'd be surprised. The number of likes of people that I have known for 20 plus years that I saw just now starting to like the page this week. But like that page.
You're annoying.
Yeah, is that what it is? And then the other one, Clint's new company, is his sister company. So the one for this week, we're doing 2 back-to-back, also based out of Oregon, is Off the Grid Cerakote. So Cerakote is a way that you is the way that you can colorize or design or your ARs or pistols or whatever. Essentially paint your gun, right? For lack of a better term. So he does these custom jobs, and so what you should do, and I'll put a link up, is you go on Facebook and look for facebook.com Off the Grid Cerakote. So that's Off the Grid, all one word, and then Cerakote is Cerakote. All right, Off the Grid Cerakote. Go there, like that page. Okay, they have 861 people liking it right now. Like that page. Make sure you like this page, Stu and the Nun. And next Thursday, we will draw the name. Same thing. Like them both by noon next Thursday, which is whatever next Thursday is, the 23rd. Yeah. And then we'll draw the name to see who wins and what they're going to win. What you'll win for next week. You have a choice because this is America. And that's the way Clint works. You can get $50 off any pistol camo Cerakote job or $100 any rifle Cerakote job. So he's a dealer. You can take it to your dealer, have your FFL, transfer it. You can work with him, pick out the design you want. Go on his Facebook page at Off the Grid Cerakote. Look at all the different designs he has. The things he does that makes these guns absolutely gorgeous. And pick out what you want. Get a price from him. And if you like both pages, he's going to give you a discount, $50 off any pistol or $100 off a rifle job, and have it done however you want. You can make it zombie. You can make it look like there's blood on it. You can make it blue, pink, purple, whatever you want, gold. He has so many pictures up there, so many designs. They're absolutely gorgeous. So that's this week's contest. Off the Grid Cerakote and Stu and the Nun. Like both pages by noon the 23rd of August. And you can win one of those 2 discounts. You get to pick which one you want. So we're very excited about that, Wendy. This is our first giveaway this week, and we have another one back to back, and we have so many more we've already lined up.
Hey,
wow!
People
that shows up on the whole screen. That shows up on the whole screen. By the way, everyone just saw that message you typed me.
You are such a liar.
Oh, really? I saw it on the show. Well, you can go back and watch it later. Because when it pops up on the Skype, it pops up on the screen. So,
Are you messing with me?
No, I'm serious as a flipping heart attack. If anyone can comment in the chat, you can tell Wendy. If you want to win something else, type in the chat what Wendy typed, and we'll get you.
Can we wrap this up?
We'll get you a free hat from Veteran Outdoors. A Veteran Outdoors hat. If you can type in the first person.
This is why you can't take me out in public.
Yeah, the first person to type in the Facebook chat what Wendy put up on the screen, what she typed me, wins a free Veteran Outdoors hat. So there we go. Look at that. We are just giving stuff away. We are making online radio and TV great again. That's what we're doing here, Stu and the Nun. So, Wendy, you kill me. That's why I love to have you on, because you are a loose, hot cannon. I'm
sorry. I didn't know. We used to be able to chat in the background.
Yeah, you have to text me. You can't type it in Skype. The new Skype. Microsoft just screwed you. They showed it right across the screen. It was awesome. Oh. I'm glad I wasn't drinking when that came across. But anyways, well, hey, everybody, thank you so much. I thought my mom was going to type it, but I guess she didn't want a VO hat. That'd even be funny if she did. My dad's probably my dad's in the background probably yelling, "This is what she wrote." I'm not going to tell anyone. I want to see if anyone actually wants to win a VO hat, and I'll make sure Toby gets you one, even though I just offered that up on his behalf.
Rochelle saw it, she says.
Yeah. Yeah. You also got a comment about your curtains. I think what they meant is behind you, but I'm not going to go there. But
I did. I hung new curtains, living room. I'm gonna redo. I told you my kitchen underneath the sink. I'm cutting all that stuff out.
That's awesome.
Placing the faucet. So
you're not working on cars. You're working on the house. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I got to pull the carburetor off my motorcycle. That's the next thing.
That's so awesome. But yeah, and hey, maybe one of our future contests is Wendy will work on you and help rebuild your carburetor for free if you like.
For free, my hiney.
Yeah. Keeps using that hiney word. Anyways,
I'm not using naughty words.
I know you're not.
Mom's
but anyways,
still on the show.
Wendy, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I know I covered a lot of topics. Was anything that I didn't cover that you wanted to mention to our listeners? Is there anything you thought was warranted being brought up that I didn't cover?
No. I just want to say how much I appreciate when you invite me on the show. I was.
It's the only way I can get you to listen to the show is invite you here.
Dude,
you're not as busy. You're not going to school anymore. You have no excuses.
I know. Again, new curtains. I've got to find a handsaw somewhere so I can cut out underneath my sink.
You got new carpet? Just asking. I can't say one without the other. Sorry.
I'm gonna redo my bathroom. My daughter's coming. We're gonna refab the whole bathroom. So, I got stuff to do. But maybe next time, what I'll do is I'll stream it while we're working on stuff. So.
There we go. Always just play it in the background. Hey, and remember, not only can you catch it on Facebook Live, you can catch it after the fact. You can also catch it on Periscope, Twitch, YouTube, Spreaker, iTunes. So you can subscribe on iTunes and catch up with it. That way, when you're going down the road back and forth to work, you can always listen to the show. And coming soon, ladies and gentlemen, Spotify. We are working on that. We hope to have that in live in 2 weeks. We're going to be streamed across Spotify. You can listen to the show there too. We are coming to you any which way we can. All we ask from you is to like the page, share the content, and come tune in every once in a while. Let us know, watch, even after the fact, if you can't watch live. We get a lot of people, when you believe it or not. Last week's show, more than twice, we had several hundred during the show, and over double that after the show. Come and watch the show or listen to it. So you can always.
I sent a friend the link because he was like, "Oh, you did a podcast?" I was like, "Yeah, I was working with Troy." I mean, I guess some people don't know that I've done this for years and years and years with you. So I sent him the link, and it was so funny because he's like, "I hope your voice isn't squeaky." I'm like, look at me. Do I look like I have a squeaky voice?
As long as
only when I'm imitating 12-year-old girls.
Yes, as long as you're not imitating 12-year-old girls. Yeah, obviously he is a new friend, because anyone that's known you for a while knows that you have gotten lots of on-air time, and many times played the devil's advocate to whatever we're talking about, and I actually enjoy that, because you always bring in a fresh perspective.
We haven't discussed politics. Next time we'll discuss
what the hell
politics.
We've been talking about all night. New York 27, Cuomo, Brennan. All we talked was politics.
No, that's not really debatable stuff.
Right. So
we
didn't talk about the Manafort thing, which is going to be hot in the next day or so. I mean, it sounds like they're going to be interesting. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. That'll probably be something we talk about next week. But next week, August 23rd, I will probably not be here. There's a chance I may, but there's probably won't be here. I'm going to be traveling. If I'm not, Toby will definitely be here. I'm going to try to. So either way, Off the Grid Cerakote, Stu and the Nun. Like both, and next Thursday he'll be announcing who the winner is of that. Wendy, thank you so much for joining me. Also awesome seeing your beautiful shiny face. We don't even get to talk that much. We need to talk more often. You're awesome, my sister from another mister. And thank you so much for Listen 9 Fight Company sponsoring the show. Was again looking forward to the second sponsor joining in a couple weeks. And thank you everybody for welcoming us into your home and welcoming us into your lives and sharing this, and let everyone know, because we really, really appreciate it. We do this for you. Trust me, we don't make any money on this. And even though we have sponsors, it doesn't cover all the cost. We do this because we just enjoy bringing great guests and topics, and we still have lots of guests in the queue that we're working on. But as you know, we have full-time jobs, and just unfortunately we can't focus on this 100%. But stay with us every Thursday, 8 o'clock here on Stu and the Nun. Wendy, thank you so much, hon. You have a great night. And
all right, good night, everybody.
With that, yeah, we'll wish everyone a good night. And as I get my stuff started here, if I can. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Stu and the Nun Radio. We hope you enjoyed your time with us, because we have enjoyed sharing our time. Be sure to check out stewandthenun.com in addition to asking us questions and interacting with us on our Facebook page and Twitter. We look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern here on Spreaker and Facebook Live. Also, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Warrior Media Solutions, PoohHammer.com, Veteran Outdoors, Graybeard Publishing, and Mighty Oaks Warrior Foundation. Don't forget to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. Thank you again, and have a good night.